Greetings, my paranormal patrons. This is the Monstrous Feminine Podcast Patreon, a space where horrible humans talk a little bit more about horror. My name is Louisa, and I'm joined by my Coven,
Mila,
and Zeba.
And Tyia is unavailable this episode, but she'll be back soon. So welcome to our bonus Patreon episode. Thank you for listening, May Queens.
In this episode, we are continuing our horror comedy theme of the month and talking about the 2019 film Little Monsters, directed by Abe Forsythe. This film centers around Dave, a middle-aged man-child who dreams of being a musician and struggles with any form of responsibility, much to the frustration of his older sister, Tess. Whilst picking up his young nephew, Felix, Dave hits on his teacher, Miss Caroline. Hoping to win her over, he volunteers to help on a school trip. However, his plans are thwarted when a zombie outbreak ensues, forcing Dave to finally own up to his uncle role, learn responsibility, and become a man worthy enough of Miss Caroline's affections.
So, Little Monsters, I've now watched this film twice, and begrudgingly, each fucking time. Because you guys don't know this, but we were supposed to do this film one of the times when we were doing zombies, and then we didn't, because no one else had watched it, because there was some confusion.
I don't understand how that...
Do you want to go over the details of our incompetence, or shall we just accept it as fact? And I did not want to watch a horror comedy to begin with. So the fact that I had to watch this film not once, but twice now, because we're doing it again.
I mean, you didn't have to watch it again.
I did, because I didn't remember it, because it was, like, not remarkable. Sorry, I'll get into it, but I'm a little bit of a hater this episode. I mean, we all know my thoughts on comedy. I've said it. I said it in the episode. Whatever. I feel like stuff I don't like about comedy is particularly present in this film. And I want to add a disclaimer to say that I love Lupita. I think she's gorgeous. She's the only thing that carried me through this film, was watching her. I was like, you are beautiful. Thank you for... And just a great actress. Like, you made this shallow role great. But other than that, and the little kid, like, acting's fine. Like, the little kid's great. The kids are cute. However, as a whole, this film and its use of comedy, not my favorite. Like, the whole, like... And it's a lot of comedies. Like, the whole genre of comedy that centers around, like, a really selfish, incompetent, burnout man learning to have even a shred of, like, humanity is just so boring to me. Like, that trajectory. And it happens in so many comedies of, like, learning
and
how
only
to
like, fuck a girl in the end.
And only to fuck a girl in the end. Exactly. And it's just, like, I don't care for it. It doesn't amuse me. It does not grip me. Don't love it. So there's that. And then there's also just the fact that there's, like, a lot of jokes, which are just, I think, some of the humor is just problematic. Like, the racist, stereotypical depiction of Asian tourists, like, was uncomfortable to me. Didn't like it. He, at one point, also uses the R word. Didn't like it. The little kid who's, like, a little bit chunky, he gets, like, there are some, like, implied fat jokes about it. Like, didn't like it. The weird guy who wants to fuck people's moms all the time was just random and grotesque, and that humor was gross. I don't like bodily fluid humor when people like toilet humor, not my thing, so didn't like it. When Dave, the main guy, was masturbating over Lupita's picture, but there are kids in the picture, was weird. Didn't like it. Like, where's your imagination? I imagine so, like, do I have a picture? Well, to be fair, never mind. You know what? And that thought.
Do I have a picture of Lupita? Yes.
Yeah, I don't pick one with kids in it. Anyway, and that's really all I have to say about this film.
I feel like this film is a great...
What?
You didn't let me finish.
I jumped the gun.
Stand down.
It's a great example of Aussie humour. I don't know, I haven't seen Aussie films in a while, but it feels strangely outdated. Like, when I was probably too young, maybe like 10, 11, I watched this show, Summer Heights High, with my brother.
Yo, I remember Summer Heights High.
It's like this mockumentary high school. This guy, Chris Liley, I think his name is, essentially plays like 3 different characters. One, he's doing, I don't know if you wouldn't call it blackface. He browns up as playing an indigenous role. He plays, I think probably the most famous character he plays is when he like dresses up as the teenage girl. What's her name?
Janae, private school girl,
Janae.
which was a whole other spin-off.
But all of that humor is basically just like on the offensive.
That makes so much sense now. Now that you've given me a point of reference for like another, yo, that show was so bonkers.
But it feels like nothing has changed since then. They haven't gone through any of the like reflection on like the R word, like the terms we use.
But I think it's not even that they don't know. It's that like that's part of the comedy is the shock value that they do say and do the thing that is like inappropriate. Like that's like that, whether it be that you are laughing because you're uncomfortable or like laughing because you're shocked. I feel like it's not that they're like unaware of like what's okay to do. I think they're like intentionally boundary pushing.
It's like core to their humor. This film feels like you said, Louisa, centering on this really unlikable, selfish man-child who's just like a terrible person, but you're supposed to have like an ounce of sympathy, or at least like think he's like the cool loser character.
And this is like what we talk about with Shaun of the Dead, in that at least like I feel like he's like caring for his friend and is a bit of a bum, and he's, I think, more lovable. This guy's just straight up unlikable. And it is that same, like I mentioned, comedy trajectory of guy learns responsibilities to impress girl, but at least like Shaun is endearing. He's just a dick, like straight up.
I think men writing these roles believe they are redeemable.
If a zombie apocalypse is what spurs on your if it takes a zombie apocalypse to spur on your ounce of a personal or emotional self-growth development, you're not a good person.
Yeah, I get like some people like in order to like evoke courage need something spectacular to happen, but not humanity and decency. But Lupita is gorgeous in it.
She is. It's also like such a departure from any role I've ever seen her do. I've never seen her in a comedy. Like, I just wonder, like, this script came across her table, like her manager gave it. Like, I'm like, how'd you choose this one, dear? The zombie parts are almost like secondary to me. Like it could have been any type of disaster. It's not really the focus of the film, I think.
And why was it US sourced?
That's what I was wondering. I was like, why did the US Army base in Australia? What cracked me up is like there was so many implied jokes that this has happened before, and like they've had to like again clean this up, and like they're the fast or slow ones. And then at the end they were like, oh shit, it's children. And then he goes, I won't shoot children again. And like I find like moments like that, I just thought like it got me. Like there are quite a few jokes. Like, and I also find like slapstick like physical humor funny. Like when it's like shocking. Like when that like asshole guy, what's his name, Mr. McGiggle or whatever, when he just like knocks shit over, it cracked me up every time. Like I'm like, why are you reacting this way? And like
the thought of you laughing about that makes it funny for me, but I don't think it was funny.
And maybe we have to watch it together because you have to like see somebody react.
I probably look like a fucking psychopath watching the films this like month.
I had watched this with somebody. Like it was important that I could bounce my like when I was laughing like uncomfortably, it became like genuine laughter because I was with somebody else. Whereas I think if I watched it alone, I would have been deadpan under my covers.
I think like the only time I get snobby about culture art is with comedy. I'm just like, this is, and I don't know why, because certain things I love, like Gremlins, The Blob.
Maybe it has to be campy for you. Like maybe you don't buy the like if it's too sincere in trying to be funny, then you don't think it's funny.
Listen, I'm not trying to ascribe any sense of depth to this film, but why I don't get the American connection. I want to know what they were thinking, because I just feel like there's something there.
It's just Americans fuck everything up. Like we have military bases all over the place.
To be fair, I know little about Australian history. I don't think their relationship with the US is bad. If anything, Australia is uncannily like America. I mean, maybe it's just like you say, it's just funny to blame Americans for stupid shit, because it's often the case. You know, like in The Host, in Bong Joon-ho's film, like the monster is the fault of an American scientist, and that's a purposeful choice because of the history between the US and Korea. If it's just meant to be funny, I don't get it.
Maybe it's just that the rest of the world just views America as having the largest military presence, and if there is a military base, it's probably American. I mean, McGiggle was also American, and he was the dumbest character, so I feel like maybe they're making a point of that.
Okay, yeah. The one thing I did find funny was the frog puppet.
That was funny.
Him reoccurring and it mostly just appearing as the frog puppet. That was fun.
I loved the children also. They were all really funny to me, and they did not seem like child actors. They literally seemed like children just hanging out in a situation.
They were told like a sort of broad idea of what was happening and they were just let loose.
Yeah, they were great. The kids were great. I have said, like, you know, in our zombie episode where I was like, don't want to live, don't want to survive. And then I was like...
In what context?
Oh, in the context of a zombie outbreak. But this film is like, provides the one reason that I would stay alive in a zombie apocalypse. To save the fucking children. Yeah, I would do that. Like, I would be... I'm not even trying to be noble about it. I love kids, and I would be like Lupita and try to save the kids and probably get myself killed in the process.
Do you really think they wouldn't be scared? I'm like, even if y'all think this is a game, it's a very scary game. If the adults aren't freaking out, then kids don't freak out. They just take their cues from the grown-ups.
I don't know, like, it depends what kind of child you were. Like, maybe Tyia, who was over here watching Pan's Labyrinth, thinking that was age-appropriate. She's not here to defend herself, it's not fair. But maybe she would have seen a zombie at the door and been, like, totally normal. But I probably would have, like, peed my pants, so I think that's subjective. I think, like, that probably wasn't the most realistic. Also, the fact that the kids are able to keep controlled for that long without their parents, not necessarily realistic as someone who worked in a childcare. However... they were cute, and I liked that part of it, and I think Lupita was great. Also, they were not 5. Like, these kids were a strong, like, 9. Like, 7 to 9. So I think they had some awareness of this is a zombie film. They were far too articulate and grown up to be 5, that was for sure.
It'd be quite difficult to have a group of 5-year-olds on set. Not sure how they would do that.
Bad. It'd be bad. A group of 5-year-olds on set? Ugh.
I, like, don't know if I've met a 5-year-old, if I'm honest.
What? Me as well. I'm having trouble, like, I have met a 5-year-old, but I'm having trouble, like, relativizing age right now.
I have met many a 5-year-old. And I'm here to tell you that those kids were not. Are there any monstrous feminine themes in this comedy?
There's nothing. There's no layers. There's nothing beneath the surface to even bullshit.
Not even a smattering social commentary.
I mean, besides the misogyny, no.
No. So, would you recommend this film?
I might, depending on who it's to. I would recommend it to, like, a straight guy, for sure.
I don't know many. In fact, I don't know actually any. Well, I guess I know some straight men in a, like, professional capacity.
The ones you have to interact with on a day-to-day basis. Yeah.
But straight up.
Why was the ending almost exactly like Train to Busan? Can we talk about that? Where they're approaching the military and they start singing. They're about to shoot the children. They're like looking through their periscopes. They're like, are they zombies or are they survivors? And then they're like, oh shit, it's children. And then they start singing, and it's exactly like Train to Busan.
It might be a nod to that.
Maybe.
Thank you for listening to the Monstrous Feminine Patreon. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, SoundCloud, and Spotify at The Monstrous Feminine Podcast, and on Twitter at The MonFemPod. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and rate and review us on Apple Podcast and Spotify. We also have a TikTok. Follow us at The Monstrous Feminine Pod for podcast clips and more fun. Brooms up, witches out.